I just had a thought. Let me go back to this again. I'll quickly go through the rest of this date. If you need to... Nothing... No... I'm gonna choose the same options that I was originally choosing. I want to skip to a specific point. Wouldn't do such a thing. I almost wonder if I should choose a different thing here, but I don't think that's going to affect anything. A little exercise, and flattering as they may be. What if I met with Bryce? Would that give me the opportunity to talk to, Maverick during that one scene? And you too. We're both sober. I'm going to skip to the end of this scene. Getting up pretty late, so I have to prepare stuff for tomorrow. I can find my way out. See you. Get back to this point, skip ahead. And then comes the all-important question. Do I get to speak to Maverick here? Maverick turned to leave. Aha! Aha! Okay, I feel like this is important to getting Anna's good ending, possibly. But I'm not entirely certain. Beer Force is not here today to help me out, so just in case, let's have this conversation with Maverick. Wait. He stopped and waited for a few seconds. What do you want from me? Do you have something against humans in general, or is it just Reza and me? Do you think you're superior to us because of your wings and teeth and claws? Your fire? Or is it just jealousy or projected hate? I know the first day I met you, you were all hung up on people paying attention to us because we're human. I can assure you there's nothing about us to be jealous about. Our world is a wasteland. He closed the door before he turned back around to face me. The reason why I want to try this is because we've already learned that Maverick and Anna were once in a relationship. And it also told us about how Maverick's brother wound up dying. So I want to do this scene just in case his involvement will be important for Anna's good ending. You're really playing that innocent role, aren't you? Now you're offering yourself as a bargaining chip for Reza. At this rate, even I might start to believe you if I didn't have reason not to. And just in case it's not clear, by the way, yeah, seeing or hanging out with Bryce twice, is what triggers this scene here. Possibly also some selection of options with Bryce, but if that's the case, they are saved as selections I have previously made. Anyway, if I were with Reza, it would have been much easier for me to pull a gun on you too, the day you were shot. But I didn't even bring one when I came through the portal. Plausible deniability, or as we like to say, good cop, bad cop. If Reza's plan fails, you and the rest of humanity can disavow Reza's actions as his own and still go through with the trade as agreed, and Reza would be dealt with however. Yet if Reza's plan succeeds, you will have given us nothing and still have gained what you wanted. If Reza got away, you'd still have me, though. If your world is a wasteland, don't you think losing you is a price they would gladly pay? Maverick's words made me think, did I really have the complete picture before I stepped through the portal? I guess that would explain why I got the job in the first place. Besides, Reza only stole the things humanity wants, so he's clearly not just doing this for himself. His actions only started after that confrontation with you, though. Maybe none of this was planned. Don't be stupid. Do you think I have forgotten about the secret message he sent you? I still don't know what he would have told me that day if you hadn't interrupted us. He wanted to discuss his plans with you. Only after I found out about the secret message he sent to you did I realize that all the messages sent back and forth between the portals could have been similar, even before your arrival. When the police searched Reza's apartment, of course none of these old letters could be found. Those did not have any secret messages. Is that so? None that I knew of, at least. When he sent me that secret message, I initially had no idea how to read it. But you knew it was a secret message? Yes. But that is not true for messages he sent before you came through the portal? I don't think so. Maybe those messages weren't intended for you, though. We're not that different, you know. What are you talking about? I reached into my pocket. I still have that? I don't know how long it's been. I pulled out the wrinkled piece of paper and showed it to him. According to these test results, humans and dragons show remarkable similarities for different species from different evolutionary lines and completely different worlds. Now to think of it, I can only stop him if I had these test results, which I got from Anna. All the more reason to be certain that I have this scene right here, just in case I need it for Anna's good ending. Why do you think I care about that? It wouldn't make a dang difference to me if other dragons came through the portal instead of humans. I was the only one who followed Reza and knew something was off, but all of my concerns were swept away in the wind. It was never about you being humans. It was about my people not hearing my pleas, and the leniency they were willing to show you, all in the name of fostering this diplomatic relationship. But you two came in here and strutted around like you owned the place as you tore my home apart. The blood of those who died is on the hands of everyone who allowed this to happen. If they had listened to me in the first place, maybe I'd have caught Reza that day I was wounded, and things would look very different right now. I agree. Then why do you blame me for suspecting you? All this time I've just been helping the police. So have I. Maybe they'll finally catch Reza, and we'll see how all this turns out. Or maybe you'll be the one to catch him and you'll maul him to death pretty much every time. Wait a minute. You had Anna perform these tests for you? It was more the other way around. She was the one who wanted to study my blood. Suddenly, I'm not surprised that you had these tests done. She can be ruthless when she wants something. What did she do to get your blood? She asked nicely for it. She asked nicely? Nothing else in this world right now could be worth more than samples of your blood, and you just gave them to her. You know what? Maybe I was wrong. Even if humanity and Reza have cooked up a crazy plan, and even if they are willing to sacrifice either of you for their own gain, maybe you really have nothing to do with it. Maybe you are just clueless. It doesn't really matter much, though. After all, you have nothing to gain from me if I change my opinion of you. To me, proof is the only thing that really matters, so my feelings on the issue are not important. If you work with the police long enough, you just learn to take things as they are. Maybe with you, I'll have to admit that I was wrong. But I won't ever stop looking for those who are responsible for this, and if I find them, I will show no mercy. Okay, and then things proceed as normal. I'll go in. Gonna take the bandage to the facility. I do still like that on that last ending, I finally feel like I earned Maverick's trust. He came out and admitted, yeah, you're not that bad, actually. Eggs to the hatchery. Hold on a sec. The police already say that they'll take the eggs to the hatchery later. Nah, I'll save, but I'll also skip with my original option. I don't think it'll actually matter. Skip ahead, of course. Okay. Time to meet with Anna again. Let's see if we can find out why the police took her stuff. Or who knows, maybe this date won't even be relevant to that. Guess she's here. No, I feel like it will matter. We're going to find out what's going on. Hey, Anna. Hey. What's going on? You sounded pretty worried on the phone. Worried? If I was worried, it would mean I was afraid of something that might happen, but I'm way beyond that. I know exactly what's going to happen to me. It's over. It's all over. What are you talking about? First they came to my lab, and now they went to my home too. Who did? The police! They raided the place. They had a warrant and everything. I already know that they'll have all they need to convict me. I'm going to die in prison. Why? It's because of those tests I did on you. You will die in prison because you looked at my fingernail under the microscope? I'm a bit confused. Why don't you start from the beginning? Alright. This goes years back, and you already know half the story. I was a brilliant mind who had skipped years in school and was on the fast track through university with an incredibly lucrative career in front of me. You wouldn't believe the offers I had based on all of my accomplishments. I was still in school and already solving problems that no one had even touched before. I had so many awards lining my shelves that new ones just went straight to the trash. I didn't need them, I just enjoyed the challenge. Besides, I couldn't care less about what some old people thought about my work, as if I needed their approval. I was already more than any of them could ever have dreamed to be. The next problem I was going to tackle was an incurable disease. I started my research, but in an ironic twist of fate, I ended up contracting that very same disease myself. Whether someone had not been following health and safety protocols as well as they should have, or if I was just unlucky, I'll never know. But the reality was that I now had a disease that was treatable, but not curable. Despite having helped an incredible amount of people with my work, I was now the one who needed help, yet there was no one who could help me. No one but myself. I was already planning on working on a cure anyway, and what better reason could there ever be than doing it to save myself? I told no one about my affliction, and set out to do what many others had failed to. Any materials I needed to start my work were easily acquired just by waving my status around. I had free reign over my own lab. I could have even gotten assistance if I wanted to, but I knew they would only be liabilities. I even had a few good leads for ways to combat the disease, although the one that I chose to pursue was not exactly legal. Not without prior approval by the council. My research was promising, though, and while I submitted the paperwork, I knew that these things always moved slowly. Being pushed through the various boards and committees could have taken months, if not years, depending on how generous they would be. I just couldn't afford to wait that long, as I was working against the clock. So, while waiting for the paperwork to be approved, I had already started with my work. I fully expected them to approve it eventually. How could they not, given that I was tackling an incurable disease? The method I was going to use was not necessarily a new one, but it was controversial. It didn't even cross my mind that anyone would object, seeing as I would cure thousands, if not millions, of future people. But I was younger then, and a little more naive than I am now. In the end, my whole project came crashing down in flames. The proposal that I was sure would be approved was ultimately rejected, putting all the work I had already done into jeopardy. I had already made good progress at the time, too. After the rejection, there was going to be an inspection of my workplace in order to determine the progress that I made on the project, which they assumed had been within legal bounds and didn't include the controversial things outlined in the paperwork. Of course, that meeting was just going to be a pretense, because I knew there were already rumors going around about what really went on in my lab. In the end, I had very little warning. Thankfully, I managed to dispose of the most egregious evidence before they arrived. They found proof of my wrongdoing, but since they didn't find evidence of how far I had already proceeded, I was able to deny most of their accusations. Using the controversial method when it hadn't been approved was still seen as a very grievous offense, however. I was charged and sentenced harshly, though the sentence was suspended due to their lack of evidence. With all I had done for them, they knew better than to take away my license, and I was able to continue work in other areas under the condition that it was within a council-owned facility. I see. So I assume that those tests on me were against whatever conditions they set for the suspended sentence. That likely includes the blood test at the very start of the game. A blood test that I can no longer really undo, as I forever have it with me. Because this situation with the police getting involved happened on my original run as well, and I did not have these extra tests that I just had in this stream on my original run. So that means that even the blood test is enough to set this off. It does kind of make me wonder if her stuff would have been confiscated had I chose not to give her my blood sample. But it's a little late for that now. Regardless, I feel like getting Anna's best ending requires that I go through with all these tests. Exactly. Why didn't you just do things the proper way and wait for the paperwork to clear? Before my paperwork would even get through, you'd be long gone. Using you as a test subject would have been a process that the Council would have to discuss with humanity. As such, there might have been another trade agreement, and who knows what else. I just didn't have the time. Quite frankly, I don't even know how much longer I have left. This is my death sentence. You thought my test results would help you find a cure? And that's never going to happen now. How did they find out so quickly? It's not been that long since I came to your lab. It wasn't just those tests. There was Reza too. But Reza told me he didn't give you any of his blood when you asked for it. Because that's not what I got from him. This is my life we're talking about. Do you think I didn't spend hours on the ground in the hallway of the facility after Reza's first visit, trying to find a stray hair or anything else I could use? Or that when I gave him that first generator, I didn't try to graze his skin just enough so that I could salvage a few skin cells? How did they find out about all this? It was Damien, my assistant. That piece of crap. He was blackmailing me. Why? Because he's jealous of me. Jealous of my success. He found out what I was doing with the stuff I could salvage from Reza. I didn't mind giving him what he wanted, though. I just wanted to live. When he died and the police searched his apartment, I found all the evidence he had on me. And now, everything is coming down. I will be punished to the full extent of the law, and I will die in prison. My work will forever be tainted. Not that I'll care about that when I'm dead. Do you remember that childhood friend of mine I told you about? I never wanted to end up like her, but it seems not even I can do anything to escape that fate. Maybe I deserve it. Maybe it's my punishment. I have to die like she did, because I left her. I'll spend my last days bedridden in a prison cell, and no one will visit me or care. And you know what? With all that data I got from you, I might have actually found a cure. I don't want to cry in front of you. I don't want the attention or the pity. I don't want it. I didn't cry back when I was diagnosed, and I'm sure as heck not going to cry now. Oh, this is the part where I tell her I know about the cancer. Really? I could have sworn that was brought up automatically earlier. But yeah, I'm gonna tell her. Because I was told that I really need to tell her. Although, is this something different? Because, after all, she's been telling me about the cancer, so of course I already know about it. That's what this conversation's about. Well, let's see what this is then when I choose it. You have cancer. How do you know that? Remy told me. Okay. I'm confused. If this conversation was not implying cancer, what was I supposed to be left to assume? What? He must have used his position to look into some confidential documents. That's not exactly legal either. What a hypocrite. Why don't they just throw him into prison as well and let us rot together, huh? All those filthy bureaucrats. You should have heard them. How they don't want to change the rules because our tradition is sacred and that's how we survived all those years. Tradition now demands that I die. But you know what? I'm not playing by their rules. Never have. Actually, why don't I line up all those who got me here and then kill them? Because if I'm going to die, why shouldn't I take them with me? I mean, I have nothing to lose if I'm going to die anyway. Don't do that. Just give me one good reason. Because where I come from, we can cure cancer. You can? Are you saying that if I went back with you, if you smuggled me out, that you could cure me? We have the facilities. If we had the power from the generators we asked for, we could. Keep us asking when. I don't know. We have technology in the future, apparently, so... somewhere along the way, we figured out how to cure cancer. Would be nice if that happened sooner rather than later. Are you kidding me? Because if you are, I'll know it's the truth. Maybe we could work something else out. I'm sure humanity would not object. Or maybe we could just give you the technology or the necessary method. We have already cured cancer, so there's no need for you to die. Why would you do that for me? You know I didn't care about you. I just wanted your blood, your data, just anything that would help me save myself. And that's exactly what I'm going to give you. Why? Nobody has ever cared about me. People were always willing to use my research, but I was just a machine to churn out results for them. That's what all the awards were for. I admit that I was selfish. Always. Yet I did great things. At least, that's what everyone kept telling me. You know, after that whole affair back then and the suspended sentence, the rumors about me never stopped. Did they warn you about me? Tell you to stay away? I'm sure they have. Why are you still here? I didn't listen to them, I guess. Just like you. The Council, Damien, Remy, they were always sabotaging me. If everyone just left me alone, I wouldn't even need your help. Why couldn't everyone just leave me alone? When they gave me the manager position at the facility, that was just to distract me even more, giving me free reign over the lab so I'd be tempted to do something I shouldn't. How could I not at least try? One of their oh-so-important founding principles is how every individual is important. That's clearly not the case with me. At least, they never showed it was. Now I can see just how different you are. You are the only one who came to me willingly and without any ulterior motives. Or did you? Am I about to regret that no comment? You invited me. I just took that invitation. Just to use you. And you still came back for more. You let me do all those tests on you. Sure, you complained like a pro, but you set it out for me. I owed it to you. You don't owe me anything more, or anything anymore. So what? Maybe I won't have to die after all. If you can cure me, I'll give you whatever you want. I know there's politics involved, and I know it may not ever happen, but this is my last straw, my last hope. I'll do what I can. Thank you. Anyway, enough of that. I hope you don't mind me hanging around here. My place still looks like the police raided it. Oh wait, that's exactly what happened. Do you need help cleaning up? No, I can pay someone to do it later. I just don't want to be there right now. A nice apartment you've got here, by the way. Not quite as fancy as mine, but this isn't bad either. I guess the council treats you nicely, huh? Hey, it wasn't my decision. You're such a VIP, aren't you? I can't be that important if your apartment is nicer than this. Besides, after your rhetoric about being wild and all that when we went out on our date, I assumed you were more the type of person who just lives in a hole in the ground. That's not what I said. I told you I can appreciate all kinds of different experiences. I could survive in the wild if I wanted to, though. Do you want to know what I did on my last vacation? I just started walking in a random direction. I spent a week in the wilderness before I came back. That must have been an adventure. I wouldn't be able to do that without tools. I could give you some tips if you'd like. Not sure if I'll ever need them, but I guess they could come in handy. Actually, there's one tip that should take care of everything. Let's hear it then. Just be a dragon. Then you've got everything you need and don't have to rely on tools and other stupid stuff. Okay, I don't suppose you have a tip on how to become a dragon, because I would totally accept that. Yeah, that's super helpful. How do you think I'm supposed to do that? Not my problem. Actually, can you tell me about your advances in genetic engineering? Maybe you could make it happen. My personal ones? I was speaking more of your society as a whole, but if you have personal experience, that could also be interesting. We could do so much if we wanted to. Cloning, genetic scrambling, or hybrids of our various different species. Heck, we could even create new species if we wanted to, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. Tampering with genetics is not allowed. Nut bunnies. Why? Our enlightened society does not see any value in it. Besides, you know about our creation myth, right? The one about a human creating you? Yeah, that one. It's the only one we have. Anyway, we are not to tamper with the perfect images after which we were created. And what would those be? The belief is that each species was molded for a particular task or particular role in our society. Really? Some of them aren't even wrong. It suggests certain species should go into certain jobs because of their naturally higher aptitude in those fields. Can you give me an example? Well, let's just say that while everyone can join the police force, you'll never be the flyer on duty unless you belong to a species that can fly. That much is a given. I was talking more about if there is any sort of discrimination, for example. You could say so. These structures can be pretty rigid in places, especially where the council is concerned. They really like to employ the members of the various species in their traditional roles. Ironically enough, the perpetual nuisance you know as Remy was a revolutionary case where that didn't happen. In what way? Well, a council's aide, particularly one who works in the archives, is usually a member of a species with more dexterous hands. You can't really expect a four-legged species to do that kind of job well. And he doesn't. He's really been a disaster. He's basically become the laughingstock of the whole town. When Remy initially got the position, there was a lot of controversy about the subject. Some liked it, some didn't. I thought that for Emira, politics was a popularity contest. Doing something controversial and divisive like that doesn't really fit that image. She wasn't like that in the beginning. It certainly caused people to remember her, though, and now that people know her, she has changed her attitude a bit. It was a good move because it kept her in the spotlight all the time, and she's using it to gain popularity now. So she just likes the attention? I don't know why she does it, and frankly, I don't care. You'd have to ask her yourself, but I doubt she'd tell you. I wouldn't expect honesty from someone like her. Oh, you never know. Politics always used to be so messy back home. Scandals, arguments, lies, they were everywhere. We do get the occasional scandal from time to time, and of course there's always rumors. You can't really make people stop talking. In a way, I'm glad we don't have all that anymore. Why not? At some point, it just gets tiring. People get loud and argumentative, and those are supposed to be our leaders. That's not something people would like here. If you are a council member who wants to be popular, you don't engage in that kind of behavior. That sounds like a nice change of pace. Not necessarily, since it also leads to reluctant agreements and sweeping issues that should be talked about under the rug. You know what? That doesn't jive with me. They like to preserve this fantasy of peace and harmony in our society. For me, it's just so fake. People pretend to be something they aren't to conform, because they don't want to stand out. They become faceless puppets, like drones in a hive or cogs in a machine. What kind of world do we live in where speaking one's mind is seen as something bad? I never held back. Now, see where that got me. I bet some would argue that it would be just easier to conform then. I could never do that. And besides, I don't want to. There's this thing called integrity, and if there's one thing this society needs, that's it. Now you're starting to sound like a politician. If that's what your politicians sound like, maybe they aren't so bad. No comment. Sometimes, I just want to walk up to some of ours and shake them until they wake up and accept the truth. You know what? So would I. What is the truth? I'm a scientist. Truth are facts that are empirically verifiable by science and tests. After all, the tests I do in my job are to find out if assumptions are true or not. I suppose if you ask different people, their definitions of truth would be very different. What's truth to you, then? Truth is what I feel, right? I share your view, actually. I know that I know nothing. I mean, I do agree with her on some points. I mean, this first option, truth is what I feel, right? Some people have beliefs on what is right, and in actuality, they are so wrong. I know that I know nothing. What's that supposed to mean? It's a philosophical phrase. It means that, ultimately, we can't really know anything without absolute certainty. Yeah, philosophy is nice and all, but that doesn't really help me when I'm in the lab. You do seem to like talking about this kind of stuff, though. I'm not an ambassador for nothing, you know. You're an ambassador so you can discuss the nature of truth with different cultures? You know, if you ask the wrong kind of person, these kind of discussions could turn very ugly. Don't I know it. I'm certainly here to learn about what you're thinking and how your society works on a deeper level. Of course, I wouldn't just walk up to someone on the street and start talking. Maybe you should be talking with someone in social studies then. Not necessarily. Even if someone like that gave me their opinion, it's still important to hear the people's voices themselves. Okay. Anything else you want to know? How much do you really like me? That's not the kind of question I was expecting. I did not expect that question myself. You called me when things went down, and you say you don't really know anyone else. So what? Is it that hard to admit that you like someone? You know me a little by now. You know what I'm like. Whatever you're looking for, you know I'm not that kind of material. Not even as a friend? You want to use emotionally laden words to describe our relationship? We've met a few times, and that does it for you? This isn't about me. Before anything happens to either of us, I just want to know. You want me to tell you how I feel about you? Even if something happened between us, you know it's not made to last. You will go back to your own world, and I'll probably spend the next few years in prison. You wouldn't like the commitment anyway, would you? True. I wouldn't let something like that hold me back. People don't like me, and I don't like people. That's how it's always been. Right now, though, I'd have to say that you're probably the person I hate the least. That's something, I guess. And I also can't deny that you have a certain exotic quality about you. Now you're talking. But enough about me. If you put up with me for this long, it can't all just be your own unselfish kindness, can it? I was hoping this question would not come up. I was smitten with you since the first time I saw you. I don't hate you too. I just did it to be nice. I mean, that last one is kind of true. I'm just doing this to, get your good ending. I mean, at this point, I'm pretty much playing a game. I kind of gave up on giving my completely honest answers a long time ago. I mean, I still give a lot of honest answers, but at the same time, like I said before, we've already established that this me is not necessarily intended to be the actual me. So, I'm gonna choose what I think is the best option here. Without, like, going overboard, because I don't really feel comfortable with the first answer, I'm going to say, I don't hate you too. Because I feel like this answer will be a connecting sort of answer. I guess we feel the same way then. You know, this might be our last opportunity to do something. Why not make it worth it? If you say so. Is that a yes? Yes. Oh. Somehow I did not expect this to go this direction when I chose that option. She strode forward, reaching out with a claw before she hooked it into the neckline of my shirt. Well, at least we got a nice image out of it. What are you doing? Okay, nice to know that I'm also surprised. Well, we have to take these off, don't we? Not like that. You'll ruin them. I'll do it. Alright, alright. So fussy. Well then. I just did a thing. Back to impressed status, I see. I can't imagine why. um... Like I said, we've already established this me is not necessarily me. I'm definitely not interested in doing it with another girl. But, sure, we'll roll with it. Okay, let's see here. Since I already, or since I undid that meeting with Lorem in order to have the meeting with Bryce so that I could have that scene with Maverick, let's do Lorem again real quick. I don't think it's important to necessarily go for anybody specific at this point. Kiba says, Anna best character, as I said. I bet she is. Chapter 5 Passion. No, that already happened. Also, did we get that card twice this run? Okay, I forget what's next. Shores of Waking World. Today is the day of the big fireworks. Who shall... Oh, gosh, we're at this point already? I wasn't expecting to reach this point until Saturday. Impressed. Hopefully, I'm on path for the good ending. That must be her. Hey, Erika. Looks like you're ready to go. I didn't think you'd want to go to a community event like this one. Me... When will I ever learn? Every one of these dragons has taken me to an isolated location, and Anna, of all people, I would expect to do that the most. Anything can be fun with the right company. With that argument, we could just stay here. I haven't seen the fireworks in years. With all the crazy crap that's happened to me recently, maybe they'll be a reminder of better days. Better days? You don't usually talk about yourself like that. It's because I just don't give a dang anymore. Who cares if you know that about me? Who cares if the entire town knows? I certainly don't. These days, I'm just trying to make the most of whatever is left. Alright, let's go then. So there's two things that will indicate whether we've gotten Anna's good ending or not. One, if she's a silhouette or not on the title screen. Two, if the ending includes finding the cure for her. After a few minutes of walking, we arrived at a rather empty-looking area near the edge of town. So much for the whole town being out to watch the fireworks. Yeah, I'm not going to those places. I'm kind of a celebrity, you know. Really? For better or worse, people know about me. Of course they would, given my intellectual status. Or maybe you just don't want to be seen with me. No, that's not it. Actually, that could be quite fun. It would only be another reason for people to be jealous of me. Oh, I think it's starting. We waited quietly as the stillness of the night enveloped us. Soon I heard the sound of the first rocket making its way into the night sky, after which it exploded in a pattern of colors. More rockets followed, their thunderous noise echoing throughout the land. I would totally be getting bored of seeing these fireworks over and over again, if not for the fact that I have never actually had a chance to watch them yet. 'Cause realization, it's noisy, Ray's is gonna make his move while everyone's distracted by noise. Anna, I think we need to go now. Really? The fireworks just started. I know where Reza is. We need to stop him. Speak for yourself. This isn't my responsibility. This is much bigger than you. Are you going to help me or not? Alright, just for you. What do you want me to do? Fight him? I'm not sure if that would be such a good idea. I want to try talking to him first. If you can buy us some time, maybe I could get some help. That would be perfect. He'll be at the portal. Let's go. Arrived at the portal. Let's see if the eggs are here. Yep, the eggs are here. I can't remember at this point for certain whether the eggs were here when it was the administrator copying Riza's crimes. But for now, I'm going to assume that if the eggs are here, then Riza's the murderer. Here's the facility as usual. Out comes Riza. Kiba says, Erika distracts him. Anna comes up from the side. Riza says, clever girl. Erika, you're here. Don't know how glad I am. Talking can wait. Help me. No. What are you talking about? You gotta answer questions. Okie doke. When did you realize we're in the past? Known for a while. Pretty obvious. I'm patronizing you. Are you done being condescending? Yep. You kill those dragons. Looks like we're having the entire conversation again. Riza's wanting to use the hatchlings as bioweapons, or possibly pets. Again, though, they're people. Don't be a dick. Yo, you're so used to this place and it's so nice that you don't want to help your world anymore. I do. But if I can, I'm going to be greedy and help both worlds. And I'm certainly going to be able to if you're in my way. I think. How did I start that sentence? I lost track. Let me try that again. I certainly have an easier time helping both worlds if you weren't in the way. Join me, Luke, and together we will rule the universe. Nah. Here comes the laugh. Oh, back up. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't stop me now anyway. Maybe I can. Suddenly, Maverick and Anna appeared next to me. You planned this, didn't you, Erika? Traitor! And to think I let you distract me with such a cheap trick, just because I thought there was still a shred of humanity within you. Pulled out his gun, not sure which one of us he should be aiming at. Point your gun over at that dragon, over there in the reflection. I mean, that's totally not a reflection. So, yeah, aim for that. Just let me go, and I'll forget this thing ever happened. You got 6 bullets for 3 people. Do you think you can really do that, Riza? Do you think this is worth risking your life for? I've been risking my life for this every day for the last 2 weeks. What did you do during that time? Sip champagne in your nice apartment? Besides, this generator and the whole building came from our time. They belong to humanity. Suddenly, the administrator comes out of the shadows in the hallway behind Riza. No, they belong to me. Confused, Reza spun around, aiming his gun at the newcomer who was slowly walking towards him. Who the bleep are you? Freeze. I said freeze. You think the administrator has learned to wear a bulletproof vest yet? Want to waste your bullets on me? Feel free. You can't stop all of us. If you say so. He pulled the trigger and the administrator fell to the ground with a dull thud that knocked her mask off. So, it's the original administrator again. My first instinct was to run away, but as Maverick started charging, so did Anna and I. Maverick was fast, pouncing on Reza before he had a chance to aim at any of us. Well, he didn't get a chance to shoot this time. He was knocked to the ground and Maverick embedded his teeth into the body before him. Never mind. Reza was screaming. He aimed at Maverick's head and frantically pulled the trigger twice. No, no, no! The jaws dislodged and Reza aimed his gun in my direction. Out of nowhere, Anna tackled me, shoving us both out of the way just before Reza unloaded the weapon in our direction. Both of us were seemingly unharmed, and by the time Reza was reloading his gun, Anna was already up again and running towards him. He still got one shot. No, more than that, he's reloading. Just as he raised his arm to aim at her, she jumped and collided with him, causing him to miss his target wildly. She was on top of him now, raising a hind leg before slitting his throat with one of the large claws at the end of it. Okay, going all raptor against him, but... Ooh. Immediately he slumped. Blood gushed from his wound as he helplessly squirmed on the ground and horrible, distorted noises left his severed windpipe. After a few seconds, his movement stopped and Anna returned to me. Now this time, his death scene is complete with cut throat. Are you alright? Yeah. We went to check on the others, but both Maverick and the administrator were dead. Hopefully in the game's best ending, everyone present survives. So far we've had one ending where Reza survived. In that ending he got sent back in time with me. We struggled through the portal. So I'm betting that will come into play during the best ending, because we have not seen it during any of the other endings. In the weeks that followed, the dragons prepared for the comet. I, on the other hand, spent more time with Anna as she opened up about her condition. When the time came, the dragons executed their plan, and by utilizing the underground building's generators, the comet was ultimately diverted and never hit Earth. Yay! Even after they recovered and power was restored to the portal, I knew that I wouldn't be able to return to my own time as the administrator, Izumi, had deleted the coordinates I needed to return home when she repaired the portal a while ago. Except for this one timeline where we actually could do that, but that didn't go well anyway. While she had her own reasons for doing this, it meant that now my only options were to stay here, or to use the portal and the coordinates she had entered to travel back in time and return to the day of my arrival in this world. However, I wasn't very concerned about this at the moment, as I spent my time in this world accompanying Anna on her journey. Ah, crap, I just realized... with communication severed, that means we couldn't get the cure from my time. Maybe I'll be able to help her find a cure in this time. For her help in stopping Reza, she was awarded the highest honor the council could bestow on her, citing her bravery and exceptional service to the community. As a result, the case against her was dropped, and she was cleared of all charges. Huzzah! But what about her cancer? In the months that followed, I was with her during her cancer treatments and could only watch as her condition worsened by the day. By this point, she was living in a hospice and had become thin and weak as her disease had eroded her both physically and mentally. What did the doctor say? Who cares what the doctor says? I know he sugarcoats everything. It's not going to be long now, or else I wouldn't even be here. I'm not sure if there is any sensible way to ask this, but... we're talking about less than a week. Besides, I'm the one who's dying here, not you. No reason for you to be so upset. She looked away from me as I saw tears welling up in her eyes. And to think that in your world, you already had a cure for cancer. It just occurred to me, the fact that this world does not have the cure for cancer means that likely, when the administrator originally went back in time, her world did not have the cure for cancer yet either. So the cure for cancer happened later. How pointlessly tragic. Yet here I am, being what I never wanted to become. Oh man. But at least I'm not alone. A few days later, she passed away quietly in her sleep. The council held a funeral in her honor, which I didn't attend. Now that I had been with Anna until the end, I had a decision to make. I could either stay here, accept this outcome and all its consequences, or, by using the portal and Izumi's coordinates, travel back in time and return to the day of my arrival in this world. This way, I could get the chance to try again. No doubt, it would be a risk to relive this roller coaster of emotions. After all, I would have to go through all the events and their dangers again, but maybe it would be worth it. Well, I mean, I've done this 5 or 6 times so far, so... well, there's still a chance that this is the quote-unquote good ending, because the other quote-unquote good endings have been not necessarily good, with the only really good one being Adin's. I suppose also Lorum's, although he didn't really get much of an ending, he just didn't die. Well, we'll find out here whether I got the good ending or not in a moment, depending on whether we get Anna's picture or just a silhouette. It feels like this is a good ending, though. Or it's intended to be, at least. Also, I get the feeling maybe no, having that scene with Maverick at the police station didn't really matter. Didn't seem like that really came into play. Moment of truth? Oh, never mind. That's another way of finding out. Achievement unlocked, Tragic Hero. You have seen Anna's good ending. That'll work. Huzzah! So I have acquired every character's good ending and also found all the secret characters. Okay, real quick. Anna's picture. She's all studying her tests and stuff. Also, a nice look of equipment in here. After that killing with Reza, I totally expected her to have one of those curly toe claws. Sadly not. It's a shame that Beer Force is not here right now. We got 2 pictures left to unlock in the gallery. One of them is bound to be for the game's best ending, which I am getting ready to work on in the next stream. But I don't know what the other image is. Whether it's something else that I need to try to get, or if it's for the evil ending, which I am not getting because I don't want it. Speaking of getting the best ending, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do for that. Getting all the good endings was obvious. Go on the dates with each of the dragons for 5 days, along with acquiring some of the items I need in order to... Oh, what is the word I want to use? Conditions? Winning conditions, we'll say. But getting the best ending? Who am I expected to see? What am I supposed to do? Is the story going to play out a little bit differently this time? Well, hopefully Beer Force will be around in the next stream to help me out with that. For now, though, if you've enjoyed today's stream, feel free to give me a follow. I stream this every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Let's see here. Is there anybody I am following to send a raid to? It looks like it. Possibly. Yep, looking like it. So let's send a raid to Glowy Eyes Sapphire. And I will say thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.